Finally, my son and I will take care of the rest. You can head back inside now, my mother-in-law said, dismissively waving her hand. Excuse me? I responded, taken aback. I thought we were going to have a barbecue together. Oh, we are, she smirked, but it'll be just me and my son. You'll have to find your own meal. Bye. I'm Jennifer, a housewife in my 40s, living with my husband and his parents. Since the day I married their son, my mother-in-law has been nothing short of verbally abusive, regularly making cruel and belittling comments toward me. My father-in-law would often step in, reprimanding her, but nothing changed. You're a thief. How dare you interfere with other people's husbands and sons? Get out of my house. I don't want you here anymore, she once screamed at me, her words cut deep, adding to the emotional burden I already carried, but I endured, finding strength in my father-in-law's kindness. You work so hard, Jennifer. You're a great help to my son and wife. I'm sorry my wife treats you this way. I wish she could see how amazing you are, he would often tell me. His words meant the world to me. His kindness made me feel as though he was the only real family I had, and I leaned on that to get through the daily struggles of living with my in-laws. Despite my mother-in-law's constant insults, my father-in-law's support kept me going. Over time, my relationship with my mother-in-law only soured, but I managed because my father-in-law always had my back. Whenever my heart felt broken, his encouraging words healed it. Unfortunately, my husband never stood by me and always sided with his mother. It's your fault for not listening to her, he would say, indifferent to my pain. Thankfully, my father-in-law never tolerated this. He'd scold my husband for not defending me, and I admired him for his moral integrity, even in the toughest moments. His presence gave me the strength to endure. One day, my mother-in-law suggested a family trip. She and my husband wanted to stay at my father-in-law's villa, a beautiful property that my father-in-law had maintained despite rarely using it. I'd visited it before to clean, and although the villa was impressive, I wasn't thrilled about going on a trip with just my husband and mother-in-law. When I suggested staying behind, my mother-in-law refused. No, you can't do that, she said firmly. We'll need someone to set up the barbecue. And who's going to drive us? We can't enjoy ourselves if you're not driving. Her tone made it clear she saw me as nothing more than a servant. I couldn't stay quiet any longer. Do you honestly think I'd want to go on a trip after hearing that? I asked. If I'm going, I want to enjoy it too. If I'm only going to cater to you and your son, I'd rather not go at all. You're so disrespectful, she snapped. At times like this, you need to know your place and do as you're told. Don't you care about serving your in-laws? Even though I tried to reason with her, she cut me off. A wife has no right to refuse. Just go ask my son for permission, she insisted. Frustrated, I turned to my father-in-law for support. A trip? That sounds lovely, Jennifer. You should go and enjoy yourself, he said with a warm smile, unaware of what had transpired. I wanted to tell him the truth about what my mother-in-law had said, but I held back. I didn't want to create more tension within the family. Instead, I swallowed my frustration, forced a smile, and simply said, "Thank you." My father-in-law reminded me to reach out to him if I ever needed help, but fear held me back. I didn't want to jeopardize my relationship with my in-laws. On the day of the trip, my husband and mother-in-law were excitedly chatting about the destination while we prepared to leave before dawn. That alone was exhausting enough, but on top of it, I was the one driving. As I navigated the winding road, they both slept soundly in the back seat. My eyes felt heavy, and the resentment in my heart grew with every mile. When we finally arrived at the villa, my mother-in-law wasted no time giving me orders. "We'll need supplies for the barbecue," she declared. Summoning all my energy, I protested. "I've been driving for hours with barely any sleep. Can I at least rest for a bit?" Her response was cold as ice. "A wife's duty is to obey. Disobedience will not be tolerated." To reinforce her control, my husband chimed in. "If you refuse, we'll leave you stranded in the mountains." With no one standing up for me, I reluctantly drove to the supermarket alone. The trip was long, and the bags of groceries I hauled back were heavy, far more than 3 people could possibly eat. Exhausted, I hoped that would be the end of it, but no, they had other plans. "You'll need to clean the barbecue equipment, replace the missing supplies, and set it all up," my mother-in-law ordered. The equipment was dusty and neglected from years of disuse, so I had to figure out what to do, often using my phone for help. Meanwhile, my husband and mother-in-law relaxed in the villa, indifferent to my efforts. I could hear their light-hearted chatter. "I can't wait for the barbecue," one of them said. "It's going to be great once everything's ready," the other replied. Outside, the cold air nipped at me, even in warm clothes. My hands grew numb as I worked tirelessly. Finally, they emerged. My son and I will handle the rest. You can go back inside now, my mother-in-law said with a dismissive wave. What? I asked, stunned. I thought we were having a barbecue together. Oh, we are, she smirked, but just me and my son. You'll have to figure out your own meal. Bye. And with that, they walked away, leaving me standing there, shocked. I had done all the work, only to be excluded from the very event I had prepared for. Left with no choice, I went back inside, cooked something simple for myself, and spent the rest of the day alone in my room, trying to find some peace. The next morning, my mother-in-law summoned me again. We're going to a famous national park today, she announced, brimming with excitement. I see, I'll get ready, I replied. No need, she laughed. You're staying here, my son and I are going alone. My husband eagerly agreed. Great idea. Although I was relieved not to join them, the way they excluded me stung. They left, taking the car, leaving me behind in a remote villa with nothing to do. I spent the day alone, bored and disheartened, wondering why I was even there. While idly passing time in my room, my phone buzzed. It was a call from my father-in-law. Hello? I answered, trying to keep my voice steady. Jennifer, how's the vacation? Are you having a good time? He asked warmly. I froze. What should I say? Should I tell him the truth, that I'd been left behind, abandoned in the villa, with no one to care for me? Should I admit that I wasn't allowed to enjoy the barbecue? But I hesitated. I didn't want to burden him with my problems. Jennifer, is everything all right? He asked, his concern evident. I felt a wave of doubt. Should I finally tell him everything? I had reached my limit. The relentless mistreatment from my husband and mother-in-law had worn me down completely. I couldn't endure their abuse any longer. With all the strength I could muster, I made a decision. I was going to tell the truth. They only brought me on this trip to treat me like a servant, I confessed, my voice shaking. I wasn't invited as family. To them, I'm just a maid. What? My father-in-law's voice was filled with disbelief. Jennifer, what are you saying? I poured out everything, the endless chores, the way they dismissed me, how they left me behind while they enjoyed themselves. As I spoke, I could hear the pain in his silence. This is unbelievable, he finally said, his voice thick with anger. After everything you've done for them, they treat you like this? Jennifer, I'm so sorry. Let me take care of this. Just hold on a little longer. I thanked him and ended the call, feeling a flicker of hope, but it didn't last. Not long after, my husband called, furious. What the hell did you tell my dad? He snapped. Why did you have to drag him into this? It's simple, I replied firmly. After everything you and your mother have put me through, it's only fair someone knows the truth. He scoffed. Do you enjoy tearing families apart? Funny, I shot back, coming from the man who tore me apart every single day. For once, he was silent. I took the opportunity to say the words I had been holding back for so long. This is the end for us. I want a divorce. Jennifer, no, he pleaded. I was wrong. Please, don't leave me. We need you. I shook my head. You don't need me. You need a housekeeper to wait on you hand and foot. That's not who I am anymore. His silence spoke volumes. Then, out of nowhere, I heard my mother-in-law's voice in the background. Jennifer, how dare you ruin everything? She shrieked. You're just trying to turn my husband against me. You're nothing but trouble. This time, I felt no fear. If you had treated me with even an ounce of respect, none of this would have happened, I said, my voice calm. Respect? She scoffed. I endured worse from my mother-in-law. I'm training you to be stronger. That's not training, that's abuse, I said firmly, and I won't be part of it anymore. You think you can talk to me like this? She roared. I can, and I will, because I'm leaving. Divorce is my way out. Ignoring her panicked screams, I packed my bags. For the first time in years, I felt light, free. As I glanced out at the mountains, I realized how much beauty I had missed while living in misery. A fresh start, back at my parents' house. I wasted no time starting the divorce process. My father-in-law, always my protector, introduced me to an excellent lawyer. Of course, my husband and mother-in-law resisted, making absurd demands. If you pay us, we'll forgive you and let you come back, they said. The audacity made me laugh. There was no way I was paying to return to a life of suffering. I stayed focused, determined to secure my freedom once and for all. Not long after, my father-in-law called me. Your husband and mother-in-law are insisting on meeting with you, he said, his voice calm but firm. You don't have to go, he reassured me. But I didn't want to keep burdening him, so I agreed, on one condition. My lawyer will be there. The meeting was held in a private dining room at a high-end restaurant, which my father-in-law graciously arranged. He even insisted on covering the bill, a testament to his kindness. I arrived early, waiting in the quiet room until my husband and mother-in-law stormed in. What the hell do you think you're doing? My husband barked. You ran off and now expect me to pay alimony? Is that how you treat family? Family? His mother sneered. How could you betray us like this? You're a terrible wife. Their accusations meant nothing to me anymore. Only my father-in-law had ever treated me like family. Enough, his voice boomed, silencing them both. I thought you came here to apologize, yet all you've done is insult her. If you're not here to make amends, why did you come? The sheer authority in his voice stunned them. He rarely raised his voice, and now, his anger left them speechless. I felt tears well up, tears of gratitude. Then, to my shock, my husband dropped to his knees. I'm sorry, he muttered, his head lowered. I'll change, I promise. Please come back, I can't handle this alone. Get up, his mother snapped, embarrassed. But he ignored her. In his desperation, he admitted everything. My father-in-law, fed up with their behavior, had moved out, with no one left to control. My mother-in-law had turned her wrath on him. Now, he was juggling a full-time job and all the housework. If he made even the slightest mistake, she lashed out. Looking at him, I finally saw it, the exhaustion, the stress, the sheer misery. He had always been spineless, afraid of conflict, and now, he was the one suffering. But this wasn't my problem anymore. As he begged, his mother continued spewing venom. You ruined my son, you destroyed my husband, marrying you was a mistake, she shrieked. Her words stung him visibly, but he kept pleading. I remained firm. I have no intention of coming back, I said. I'm moving forward with the divorce. Jennifer, please, my husband cried. But it was too late. I stood, my voice steady. Is that all you have to say? If so, I'm leaving. I won't waste another second here. My father-in-law gave me a nod of support, and we walked out together. Behind me, I heard my husband's desperate shouts, but I never looked back. A new chapter. I had recorded the entire conversation and handed it to my lawyer. It didn't take long for the divorce to be finalized without issue. Soon after, my father-in-law took his own steps. He divorced Judy and disowned his own son. With nowhere else to go, my husband moved out, unable to withstand his mother's wrath any longer. Word got back to me that he had suffered a breakdown and was admitted to a mental health clinic. Meanwhile, my mother-in-law, now alone, struggled to maintain her deteriorating house. It became the haunted home of the neighborhood, unloved, unkempt, forgotten. Did I regret any of it? Not at all. Life after the divorce felt like a breath of fresh air. My father-in-law remained my biggest supporter, often inviting me to dinner. This is my way of making it up to you, he would say, always thoughtful. I've come to appreciate his kindness. Next week, he promised to take me to a fancy sushi restaurant, and for the first time in years, I'm actually looking forward to something. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Stay stunned.